Good morning, everyone. This is Steve KG5VK, your ARRL North Texas Section Manager. Welcome to the first ever virtual version of Mentorfest. I know we have a wide audience. We have members from outside of North Texas, probably even outside of the United States. And we have ARRL members as well as guests. So welcome to everybody. Our presenters will cover a wide range of topics that we hope you will find educational and fun. Our ARRL North Texas Section Traffic Manager and Webmaster, K8AMH Aaron Hewlett, will be our Master of Ceremonies for this event. I would like to state that Aaron has done a lot of heavy lifting for this project. He has handled all the technical issues. So all accolades for what goes smooth goes to Aaron, and any hiccups fall right in his lap as well. Hi. We're very hopeful that this goes very smoothly. A door prize will be awarded for each session, excluding this opening ceremony portion. I will have a door prize during my closing remarks as well. Mentorfest has been a tradition in North Texas for many years. This is our first virtual version. A note about door prizes. Door prizes, you will need to fill out a form for each session to register to be available to be in the door prize drawing. Whoops. When you register for those, you will need an amateur radio call sign that has a good snail mail address on QRZ.com, because that's where we're going to ship your door prize to. Door prize recipients need to be within the continental United States of America, and you cannot be a member of the North Texas Section Management Team or a presenter to earn a door prize. I will have a gift for each one of the presenters, which will end up at their doorstep courtesy of the U.S. Postal Service in a couple of weeks. With that, I think that brings us to everything about housekeeping. Halfway through each presentation is when you will see a key phrase, a set of keywords, if you will, or even simply one word about that presentation that highlights you were actually watching the presentation. And you will need that key phrase or keyword to fill out the door prize form. This keeps people from just coming to us and hunting for door prizes and not really participating. So we apologize if that seems unnecessary, but we tried to keep it simple but elegant as well. Hi. At this time, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. Our distinguished guest is John Robert Stratton, N5AUS. John is our ARRL West Gulf Division Director. John Robert Stratton and I have forged a great working relationship that benefits all ARRL North Texas members and beyond. That's my belief, and I think it's very true. I've asked him to speak on two specific topics. We will have time for a few questions as well, as long as we get done by 9 o'clock for the next presentation rolling up, because we want to try to stay on time. So the two questions I have for Mr. Stratton is, what is the deal with the continued announcements from the FCC for us to not use our radio for illegal purposes?
Actually, I'm sorry,
What?
Steve.
What? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Simple question. I've received it from, by the way, thank you for letting me appear on the Mentorfest. And for those who haven't dealt with Steve before, he is one of the best section managers in the country. North Texas is lucky to have him. For those who don't know, the FCC issued for a second time an enforcement advisory. They issued it on the 20th last week. We did not know it was going to be issued. We, the league, did not know it was going to be issued. We received a phone call from the FCC going, "Would you like to comment on this?" After swallowing our coffee, we went, "Yes, we will." There is a note up on the website where we commented. This is the second time they have issued this enforcement advisory. They issued it shortly after January 6th. The FCC is not targeting us, just as the little inside the baseball. The division of the FCC that deals with amateur radio is known as the Wireless Bureau. The Wireless Bureau did not even know this advisory was going to be reissued, because when we contacted them, they went, "What advisory?" But what caused this, or the occasion for it, is that there is a open session of Congress occurring next week, at which I think the president's supposed to appear. And Washington has gone security crazy. Reasonable, whenever the president moves, there's heightened security anyway. But in the current political climate, everyone's playing to be very careful, covering themselves in case they forgot to do something that was right. So it's kind of a reflexive response. They send out an advisory, don't do anything wrong. Those advisories are going to any number of people in any different types of endeavors, but they sent this back out. There is no indication based on the conversation of our FCC council with the FCC that they have any concern about amateur radio. They're not targeting us. The wording of the public notice is a little bit unfortunate, but we didn't write it. We weren't consulted on it. But there's no credible evidence that we have seen or been shared with us by the FCC that there's an organized amateur radio effort to engage in any type of illegal activity. But unfortunately, if you watch the videos, you see people running around with Baofeng handy talkies, and everyone goes, "Ah, amateur radio." It's not amateur radio. If you go up on the prepper sites, almost every site recommends they go buy this radio, the Baofeng UV5R or something else. So it's just radios, and they're being careful. They're just reminding everyone that it's not a matter about to be concerned, and they are not picking on amateur radio. They're picking on everybody. Does anyone have any questions about this?
Aaron, do you see any questions on your side?
Well, first off, good morning, everybody. And no, there are no questions in the chat. We are monitoring the chat this morning on YouTube. If you do have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll make sure to get them relayed for you.
Yeah, questions are welcome.
Okay, great. And if anybody that's watching, I know we have more than a few viewers right now. And if you think of a question later on, of course, you're welcome to contact myself, and I will get them to whoever that the question needs to be addressed to, if I don't know it off the top of my head, or if I have to research it. And my email address is simply kg5vk@arrl.org. And we are getting some questions about the door prize form, by the way. The door prize form will not be live until approximately halfway through each session. So the first door prize forms to be filled out will not be available until roughly 9:30, because our next presentation is at 9 o'clock. So about halfway through that, 9:30, the door prize forms go live. Is that correct, Aaron?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so I did get it right. All right, John, would you like to address the next one on RF safety exposure surveys?
What if I say no?
That's your choice. I have a feeling, and you can just tell me if I'm right or not. This is the question that several members in the section have posed to me. What action, if any, is needed once we have done an RF safety survey of our amateur radio station, and any further guidance on this? And of course, this question came about because the ARRL had announced in their news items that the FCC is no longer excluding amateur radio operators from doing a site RF safety survey. So that's the question. Go ahead, John.
We've never been excluded from doing an RF exposure limits survey. The exposure limits haven't changed. It's the methodology of determining whether or not you're in compliance. If a station is presently in existence and you have determined in accordance with FCC guidelines, and that's been prior to now, you could take a look at a table and determine, okay, with this type of power, these type of antennas, I am legal. I'm within RF safety limits. What's changed is neither we nor anyone else is being permitted to rely on tables. They now say you must do an evaluation. The methodology of the evaluation, again, the limits haven't changed. The methodology's changed, and it's been reduced to a fairly, well, depends on how you look at it, simple formula for determining whether or not you're in compliance. But if you're operating a station as we speak, and you've already determined that station's in compliance prior to, say, last Friday, there's nothing you need to do for the next 2 years. Because of the nature of the change, because it's not necessarily simple, which is because the government made it a little bit more complicated than we want. The FCC's made the decision that there's a 2-year moratorium on this. If you take down your 140-foot tower and put up a 200-foot tower with stacked antennas on it, that's a change. If you put up a new vertical in your backyard, that's a change. Now you will have to do an exposure limit evaluation. If you don't change your station between now and 2 years, you don't have to do anything until then. If you do make a change, there's a simple formula up on the FCC website that says how to do this. The ARL is posting up on our website, and we'll send links out. I believe I'm looking at the news item right here. It'll go out next week. We will have resources available on the ARL website that will make it easy for you to go do the calculations if you have a changed station. There is a publication that was published a number of years ago that if you go to the news article that the league has put up on the website, there's a link to a book called RF Exposure and You. It's free. You can download it as a PDF. Ed Hare, the head of our lab, wrote it. If you have questions about how do I do this, or do I need to do this, there is an email link to the lab. If you send them an email, they will call you back and get with you, or you can actually call the lab. You may get Ed, you may get someone else, but the league is going to make the lab facilities available to all amateur radio members, ARL members, to help you go through an evaluation if your station has changed. If it hasn't, you're good for 2 years. The question you asked, Steve, was if I do an evaluation because my station has changed, to whom do I report this? No one. The FCC is not requiring us to report. If you were in Germany, you would be required to report to the German government the results of your evaluation. But the FCC's position is, we want you to do the evaluation. We do not require you to report it to us.
Okay, thanks,
It's
John.
the honor system. We're being trusted.
All right, thank you. I think that clears that up a whole bunch. At least it did for me. And basically, I've been telling everybody that you do not have to report it to the FCC, because I was very confident that they did not want to be burdened by all that extra paperwork and email coming into their office. So they want to do less with more.
And again, next week, we're sending out a more detailed response. It's a FAQ that'll be posted on the website that answers all of these questions again in detail. and again gives everyone the link to the free RF evaluation book and links to other resources. A year, this is 20, in 2019, we met with the FCC, we being the executive committee of the ARL board. In that meeting, we offered the FCC a software program that was written by an amateur radio operator to evaluate the RF exposure on any station. We offered it to them for free so that they could post it and make available to all amateur radio operators. We have, with a change in their operating rules now, we have offered it to them again. They're looking at the program. They may make the determination they will accept it and post it as the standard software to use. But that's still in the works at the moment.
Okay, perfect. All right. I think I'm going to slide over to the next slide and see what we have next. I don't remember. And I think we're going to have time for a few more questions if anybody has them. And if not, I've got a couple other things that I would like to talk about this morning while we're killing another, where's my clock? 15 minutes, 14 minutes. John, I would like to say thank you very much. I know you got a huge schedule this morning for your day job, and we really appreciate you attending. And for those that don't realize it, not all section managers have a great working relationship with their cohorts in the division as I do. And I think it benefits everybody in our section and division and beyond. So, John, thanks a bunch for taking time out of your busy day. And please say hello to your partner in crime there, your executive secretary. Hi, hi.
Will do. By the way, anyone who wants to send an email to Steve, you've got his email address. If you want to send me an email, ask any questions, the email address is simple. It's n5aus at n5aus.com. Steve, thank you again. And I'm going to break connection because we've got an ARL board meeting this morning.
Okay. Thank you very much, John. You have a great day. I'll be talking to you later.
Good luck. Bye.
Thanks. And of course, my email address is KG5VK. That's Kilo Golf 5 Victor Kilo at ARRL.org. And like I said earlier, you can direct any questions to myself and I will get to them to the appropriate person for their response. That includes any of the presentations today. Many of the presenters will have a slide with how to contact them. But if you missed that during the day, then you can drop me an email and I'll be glad to help. We've got about 12 minutes to go. And Aaron, I think I'm going to toss it back to you and you can pop up the, well, it may not be convenient. If you could pop up the presentation schedule on the site to go live now, or I can probably do that from my desktop. Let me see if I can do that.
No, my
here.
screen is very much in producer mode this morning. So if I tried to screen share, everybody's screens would all blow up from how large my screen is.
Okay, I'm going to just slide that over to my current desktop.
Yeah. While you do that, we did have a good question in the chat that just came in. Do folks need to keep a record of their station evaluations? So if they do a station evaluation, do they need to keep that recorded? You know, in case the FCC comes asking or something like that.
Well, I would document it and just keep it somewhere. Keep it on that that great cloud hard drive, if you will. But I mean, we've all got things that we keep of importance, and I usually keep a copy on a thumb drive or a jump drive, as well as my regular computer hard drive, just in case Murphy strikes, like my copy of my logbook and several other things. But yes, I would keep a copy. I know of no official writing where it says you must keep a copy of this for 7 years or whatever. Hi. But, you know, you get asked, doesn't hurt. You know, a long time ago, we used to be required by the FCC to keep a logbook, and that ceased in the late 70s, if I recall correctly, or early 80s. Not sure, but great question. Any others?
No, that's the only question at the moment. If we get more, folks, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll bring them in as long as we
Okay.
have time here.
All right, I'm going to slide the schedule on top of this one. And again, the door prize, I'm going to try to. The door prize forms will not be available until approximately halfway into the presentations. So the next live door prize form will be about um, 9:30 local time or 14:30 GMT, which is 1400 is the beginning of our next presentation.